All right, welcome back, everybody, to another great episode here on Learn or Be Learned. Today's guest is Manuj Aggarwal. He is well known in the AI space, and I'm very excited to have this conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we jump in, because I have a couple questions I definitely want to ask, can you give a little bit of backstory about what you do and how you got to where you are right now?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I grew up in India in a small town, and I basically started working at 15, earning $2 a day, and it was kind of a challenging life, hard life. While schooling, I was working as well, and I wanted to get out of that situation and improve my life. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. But one day, I got some inspiration from some business stories about successful people in a business magazine, and I thought to myself, in order for me to change my life, I need to acquire a valuable skill that the world needs. And that led me to discover my passion for technology programming. And I found out that I was pretty good at it. I was ranked seventh all over India in my final exam, so I knew that I was on the right track. And then moved to Canada in 1998. Got a job fairly quickly. It was the dot-com boom time, and then lost three or four jobs within a couple of years because of dot-com bust, and then September 11th and Gulf War. So it was quite an uncertain period economically speaking, and that
Hmm.
led me into entrepreneurship. I started my consulting company, started working with a whole bunch of startups, small businesses locally building their technology. And then after that, I got an opportunity to work with companies like Microsoft and Pearson Education. So these are giant Fortune 500 companies working at a global scale. So I got to see how small businesses work in various industries, and how large corporations work, again, in different industries. And I was getting heavily into AI around 2006. I started working with AI, and around 2011, 2012, I got into very depressive state. Mentally, I was exhausted and had a lot of challenges at home with my relationships. And that depression led me into seeking help, and finally found help in meditation. So as I was learning about the mind, about human psychology, neuroscience, and I was also doing some really good work with AI, I found a good overlap between how AI interacts with our mind and vice versa. And so that sort of became my passion to really dive into the impact of AI, and how it benefits or impacts society, businesses. So now I have four patents in AI, and uh, I'm listed among some of the thought leaders in this field in AI. So my passion now is just helping businesses really understand what AI can do for them, how it can help them grow bigger, faster, easier, and how they can, how businesses can really expand their capacity to grow, not only just grow, but more importantly, get their time back, and get away from the stress and the grind of business growth.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, 2006, starting there in the AI space, that much must have been so interesting, right? Because the research that you're doing is not well known amongst, the, common people to the point where you're seeing this profound implication of technology that will certainly revolutionize the world before it's even had much of an impact
Yeah,
yet.
yeah,
So I can only imagine 2006, starting and seeing the companies start to talk about, the next, where's this future of tech headed? And you had the chance to work with it. Do you think there was also any chance of your mental state and this type of technology? do you think there was a parallel there too, or were those two separate events just happening at your life at the
Well, I
same
mean,
time?
I believe AI is impacting all of our mental health. We see a lot of people talk about teenage suicide, a lot of people getting depressed and lonelier. Even when we talk about matters of personal relationships, like in the old days, if you had to meet a mate, you go out and go to a place where you can find somebody to talk to. Now everything is determined by an AI algorithm, and swiping left and right on dating apps. So definitely society is being heavily influenced by AI. So uh, in my case, you know could have been technology, but I think more importantly my issues were stemming from relationships with my spouse, with my parents, because I chose to lead a path that was not very acceptable. My spouse did not be, we my spouse and myself, we belong to different religions, different society,
Hmm.
different cultures. So that was a big part of the reason why uh, I was not able to create a very cohesive relationship with my close family members, and that
Hmm.
was the main reason why I got depressed. Nevertheless, I'm sure, uh, you know, just looking at other people and their virtual lives being so happy and perfect, I thought, it's just me who is
Yeah.
experiencing this hardship. But as you go through life and talk to more people and understand the world around you, you realize it's not you. We all have our own challenges and all kinds of issues. Technology just enhances those pain points, I believe. And in a way, technology is a double-edged sword, right? It enhances those pain points, and then if used correctly, it can also really help cure those pain points.
Right, right. Yeah, I agree. I think a sense of belonging is incredibly important. And I think we saw that a lot with the pandemic as well, when we had to rely heavily on technology and we lost that sense of communication. And many people, and I've said this several times, many people don't realize on social media that it's just the glorified version of everybody's
Yes,
life.
yes.
Because I think also, to some extent, maybe it would be a little depressing if you got on Facebook or Instagram and saw everybody complaining all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
So, so we tried to post our best moments for multiple reasons, right? But I think we have to also remember when we see somebody's highlight on social media, there was, ups and downs along the way to
Yes,
that milestone
absolutely.
of when they posted that.
Right.
And it's very hard because we can only see, the full story of our own lives. So to see only snapshots of somebody else's, it's very difficult to not
Yeah.
want to make that comparison.
Not only that, but
Absolutely.
once you get to know some of these influencers, you also find out that a lot of the stuff that is presented is not contextual. In some cases it's not even
Mm,
true. And
right.
it's just meant to grab attention. And so you start to realize the importance of, again, how our mind works, how at a societal level, the attention is glued towards perfectionism, individualism, whereas real life is not perfect, it's not individualistic. We are all bound by invisible almost connections between us. And so once you start to realize this duality in your life, things start to make more sense.
Hmm. And let's take it from here with AI. Do you think AI is going to amplify some of these characteristics, and which ones, right? Do you think authenticity is going to be more valued on social media with AI coming out, or is it going to be perfectionism? What of these characteristics do you see going to be
I think
the highest
you know
sought after?
Here is the thing, in my opinion, it will take time, but I think we are with AI, we are heading into kind of society where abundance is going to be the norm, because right now, uh, people want the comforts of life, and people who have the means or the financial resources to find that comfort, they are at the top of society. But as AI takes over, the cost of living, cost of products and services will drastically come down. Moreover, people will find opportunities to mm, be self-reliant. Like you will see the trends in society. Gig economy is rising. Like a lot of people are leaving their traditional jobs, going into driving Uber, or like setting up their own businesses. All this
Hmm.
has been possible because of technology. So as this continues to unravel, I think more and more people will be able to build their own lives, their dream lives. And so, looking at other people being jealous and envious and all that, I think it should come down as a result, although it may take some time. And I think, as you said, like in this aspect, I think authenticity and really showing your true self will become more important. We are already seeing that trend now. Like even about 2 3 years ago, um, when you were standing in front of a fancy car, maybe it was rented, that was more uh, uh, advantageous, that was getting more attention. But today I think people want more raw, more behind the
Mm.
scenes kind of look at your life. And that's why I think more recently you will see people showing a little bit of their vulnerability, showing a little bit of their struggles. You will even see these trends. Like I think recently in Super Bowl, during Super Bowl, Kanye West, I think, aired a 30-second commercial, which was like barely edited, shot on in a dark, scene from his camera, and that is the authenticity that people are liking these days. So you know
Hmm.
it's unpredictable how society is going to evolve, but you can see certain trends and certain things that are becoming more popular, and they are pointing towards this more realism, a little bit more sort of authentic look at people's lives.
Right. One thing that concerns me that I've thought about, there's, like you said, with technology, it's a double-edged sword, and there's plenty of great things that are coming out with AI. But one concern for me, there's, a couple, but it's invasion of privacy, or, I don't know how best to say this, but usage of, let's say, somebody's
Mhm,
content,
mhm,
right? You've seen the things with AI generated videos where somebody is completely fabricated, and what they're said is just completely AI generated. It's not even them, right? So that's of concern, because then if AI gets good enough, it'll be hard to distinguish if that person really said, maybe a controversial statement or not. And I think that's very scary and
mhm,
concerning, right? Especially as a lot more people are making content that gives you a lot more to go off of to create
mhm,
those type
mhm.
of things.
Well,
What is your thoughts on that?
so let me answer it this way, right? See, propaganda and lies and deceit is not something new. um, it has been around since humanity has been around. Like there have been false scandals in newspapers, in books, in radio, television. So as human beings, we are always competitive, we are always trying to bring down others. It's just that it's becoming easier now, because of the internet and AI and all that. But that doesn't mean that there are not good uses of this technology. Like uh, again, let me give you some examples. Let's say you are running your own business. You pay, I mean, anybody will pay millions of dollars to hire a famous actor to send their message across in the world, right?
Right.
Now, isn't that sort of allowing somebody or even paying somebody to represent your point of view just because they have the notoriety? Then I say to other people, like a lot of people, even entrepreneurs, They are not really good at communicating their value proposition. They're not good at marketing themselves. They're not good at selling themselves. But they will be very comfortable if there was an AI avatar representing them, putting their ideas forward, and they were focused on what they are good at, which is solving problems for others. So in fact, I believe that this will actually become the norm. Everybody is going to want to have an AI avatar which can
Hmm.
go out there and showcase their point of view, in a way that resonates with the audience. If even if it doesn't look like them, we are already right now employing like virtual AI employees in our company, which are advising us on different things, showcasing our ideas to other people, even appearing on video in ads and things like that. So I think as human beings, we have a tendency to look at the negative side of things, but as society evolves, we all find that technology is, once again, as I said, double-edged sword. But it all depends on how you use technology. Like even the basic things like a wheel, we cannot imagine our life without the wheel. But a wheel can be a deadly weapon. I can run over
Hmm.
somebody with my car and kill them, or I can drive my car to the grocery store and get my groceries. So it all depends on how you look at it. But technology itself is always empowering us to do more, and be more comfortable.
Yeah, I could see that. Almost, you know, fear of change, right? It's very common as humans. We like our comfort zone, and as especially with technology, change happens so fast that I think sometimes the fear develops very quickly. Do you think that still subscribes to the idea of authenticity that you were saying with the idea of avatars?
Hey, okay, so I'll give you some more explanation about that. Yes, it definitely does. So you will see, let's take an example. Like, I visited Paris about a few years ago. I saw the Mona Lisa, the
Hmm.
painting. And you'll see that Mona Lisa is one painting that is the most famous painting in the world. And people spend thousands of dollars and line up, queue up to just get a glimpse of that original piece of art. But at the same time, you can buy a reprint, a replica of that Mona Lisa for like $1 anywhere, right?
Right,
So now you can see these kind of paradigms between the authentic thing and the replica exist even today. It all
right,
depends on who you are as somebody interested in art. Whether you are satisfied with the replica, then you will go with the replica. Or if you are passionate enough to spend the money and go through all the trouble to experience the real thing, then you will do that. So it's just the medium has expanded. Our preferences will stay the same. And people will gravitate towards what they really like. So yes, authenticity will become more valuable, but it doesn't mean that that's the only thing that will survive. People have, like, this world is very complex. So there are shades of preferences and tolerances and passions that people have. And so all of this will sort of evolve in an interesting manner.
hmm. I can see that too. That's a good point, right? Even as much technology as we have and FaceTime and even this online video podcasting, there is to some extent we do prefer meeting in person if if possible, right? Having that sense of community with people, and we will still always have
Mhm,
preferences.
mhm.
So I could see that for sure being an extended medium. I think that's a great example.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm curious now, right, with AI, and you hear this a lot with the fear of the job market, right, as things
Mhm,
change and
mhm,
jobs are jobs are going away. But from my understanding, just like anything else, yes, jobs will go away, but other jobs will appear, right? So where do you see this job market headed? Is are we entering a new creative market? What do you
mhm.
think?
Yeah. See, here is the thing. Every time a new radical invention or technology comes across, it affects one part of the society negatively, and it impacts the other part of society positively. So let's take printing press for example. Before printing press, there were a huge amount of people employed in calligraphy and writing books by hand. And with the printing press, they were all out of business. But the idea is that if they embrace the technology, they were able to produce many more books in many different genres and whatnot. So it expanded their capacity to do what they were really passionate about, which is sharing
Right.
information. Same thing with the steam engine. Before steam engine came along, most of the human population was actually spending 90 to 99% of their time just toiling away in the fields to put bread on the table. But with steam
Hmm.
engine industrialization happened, we got a 5-day week and 2 days off. uh, that was a result of industrialization. A lot of new safer jobs appeared. So every time you see this shift happening, there are going to be things that will be displaced. Just talk about the internet. Like before the internet, there was a huge um, mail system delivering handwritten mails and postcards all over the world. Now
Right.
it's barely any packages other than Amazon packages that get delivered to us, right? um,
Right. Even the stock market was very different.
exactly. Now most people don't
Yeah.
realize that 90% of the financial transactions throughout the world are carried out not by humans but by machines these days.
Mm.
So to come back to the job displacement today, yes, job will be definitely displaced. For example, I will say in the next 10 to 15 years, driving by humans will be made illegal, and it will.
You think
Yes,
so?
yes, absolutely.
10 to
Yeah,
15 years, you
yeah,
think?
yeah.
That soon?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to
Oh,
city. I think in Dallas as well, or in Phoenix, San Francisco. You can hail a cab which is driverless today, right now. So, and they are statistically proven to be safer than a human driver. So there are 10 million people involved in driving jobs in U.S. alone. So those will be displaced. But the idea here is that you can see, if you embrace technology, it actually gives you more freedom to start your own company. Like, here's another prediction. This is from Sam Altman, who's the CEO of OpenAI, that in a few years, maybe by 2030, there will be billion-dollar corporations listed on the stock exchange run by a single person, because everything else will be done by
wow.
AI. So there are negatives, and but if you really truly embrace this technology, there are huge how can I say it, opportunities to become independently wealthy. Because let's face it, like and this is again another statistic. More than 80% of the people or employees are disengaged at their job throughout the world. Most people, if you talk to them deep inside, they don't really like working for other people. um,
Hmm.
but they have no choice, because starting a business is not easy. It needs a lot of people, a lot of resources, salaries,
Right.
office, all of that. But now you can see everything is changing. you know I gave the example of Uber. You can literally just apply for a loan, get a car, and start driving, and you don't need any infrastructure, start making money. You could take out your mobile phone, start sharing your knowledge on the internet. What are we doing right now is we are exchanging ideas through podcasting and sharing these ideas with other people. I mean, this is our life experience. And before uh, before the internet was available, this kind of information would have taken probably decades to get into the hands of people. So
Right.
all these opportunities are there for people who want to avail them.
How can one capitalize on this rapidly changing infrastructure?
It's always Rome was never built in a day. So the first thing
Yeah.
is, take the first step. Dive in. Start using AI, start learning about where the world is going, what are the things people want these days. What I do is, I share something when I work with clients, or people I help. I share a concept called ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese concept
Hmm.
which really helps you dial down into your life's purpose. Not only your internal motivation or passion, but it also intersects with what is happening in the world economically. What does the world need? What are you capable of getting paid for? So these kind of concepts, the Eastern philosophies, ancient wisdom, when you combine that with modern technologies like AI, it can really accelerate your growth. So my advice is, just start gathering information, start taking action. Even a small little step every day gets you quite far. And in fact, just showing up every day and just dedicating 20-30 minutes towards learning new things will put you ahead of 90% of the human population. And here is another statistic. In the next 6 years, AI is going to generate about $100 trillion worth of value in the world. 100 trillion. So there's going to
Wow.
be more billionaires made in the next 6 years than any time in human history. So that's the situation.
That's crazy. Yeah. So you suggest, maybe slowly delegating some menial tasks to AI services and kind of understanding prompt engineering, things of that nature, and try to start, figuring out how to implement more and more of this
Correct,
technology
correct.
into your daily life.
Absolutely.
And what is the best place to learn about because new AI software and updates are coming out all the time, right? So how do you keep up to date with all this?
So what we do is, first of all, we have a mastermind. We have a community of people who are wanting to learn AI, wanting to deploy it in their business, wanting to get tangible results. So we are guiding them every day on this journey, finding the right tools, building our own tools. Um, I mean, here is the thing. There's going to be a explosion of tools now, but at the same time there's going to be an implosion of tools as larger companies release more and more powerful AI models. So for example, there are
Hmm.
a huge number of startups coming out with creating videos with AI, but OpenAI is going to release their own video platform very soon. So what will happen is OpenAI's models will be so much more impactful that many startups are going to die because of this. So my advice is look at not building tools and technologies for small little things, but focus on the human impact. Learn about empathy, learn about human communication, learn about understanding other people's pain points, and find solutions that address those pain points no matter what the state of technology is. So for example, we will all need healthcare, we will all need education, we will all need recreation, we will all need human connection. All of these things are never
Hmm.
going to go away. And to your point earlier, uh, this authenticity, this empathy, this idea of focusing on other people's needs, it will actually become more and more and more valuable as AI becomes commoditized. Because today in the world, if you see, what is valued is our intellectual ability. So if you are able to solve more problems, you rise through the ranks, you become the CEO, you are paid the big bucks. But machines are so much faster, so much better at making decisions now. Like, I think Einstein had an IQ of about 170, and AI today has a IQ of like at least 500 to 1,000, and it's going to continue to improve.
And that's right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
yeah.
And so you cannot compete at that level with the machines. What you can compete is at the emotional level, at just really understanding your fellow human
Hmm.
beings. That's something that machines will not be able to learn.
Right, the human connection, human experience portion of our
Hmm,
reality,
hmm,
right?
hmm.
I think I think that's a great place to maybe explore a little bit because you said there are some places that won't displace or disappear. Anything that involves human connection. What are some other examples that you think
So
will be here to
yeah, I
stay?
mean, let's take healthcare for example. I was talking to a neurosurgeon the other day, and what he told me was that neurosurgeons, obviously there are not many of them around, but even when they visit a patient, 80% of their time is dedicated toward administrative tasks, like filling out forms, filling out their patient's information, and double checking their medication and all of that, right? Only 20% is actually dedicated towards real healthcare for the patient. So now imagine AI
Right.
taking over that 80% of the mundane tasks, repetitive tasks. That frees up the time for the neuroscience, neurosurgeon to visit more patients, or even spend more time with the patient. Really understand their family history, or their anything that's bothering them. Just like consoling their family members, what have you. Like that human touch, as it's proven, scientifically proven, that if a physician shows more care, the patient is
Hmm.
actually is more likely to get better. So all these things are going to actually start impacting uh, impacting every profession. One of the things I say is, like, we are going to have a lot more free time. Like, you're already hearing, many companies are implementing like unlimited paid time off, or 4-day week, or what have you. So you will see more and more free time being given to us. And what are we going to do with that time? Because we are creators. This podcast is a creation. It's something that we are creating together. So this will give rise to creator economy, which we are already in.
Right.
People will start gravitating towards music and art and painting. So it's almost like going to be like a renaissance of the 15th century.
Right. And what do you think about the education space? Because that's been huge since technology has been able to create virtual conferences, you know, even what we're doing right now in exchange of ideas. Well, where do you see education heading? Because we've also seen a lot of courses, and from my understanding and research, we may be moving away from less online courses and more to community based learning, right? So instead of just paying $100 for somebody's course, we'll be paying, we'd rather pay $50 a month to get into somebody's
Yeah.
community to learn. So where do you see education going?
Absolutely. I think, I think, uh, and believe me, I've spent like almost 10 years building really, really impactful technologies for the education sector. I actually have a couple of patents in this space. But I see that
Wow.
education today, as it is set up, was the result of industrial revolution, where we determined that, hey, we need physicists, we need mathematicians, we need people who are good at communication for specific jobs. So we started
Right.
training people for specific things, and everybody's going deeper into one specific area. But now, AI.
Like specialized
Yeah,
knowledge.
yeah. So now with
Yeah.
AI, like all of these paradigms are breaking down. So I think uh, these degree programs, which takes years or decades to complete, they will give rise to like micro credentials. More experiential learning will become the norm rather than sitting in a classroom. Technologies like AR, VR will come in, where like today, for example, if you want to get trained as a pilot to fly a plane, for the first 70% of your training, you're not even going to go near a plane. You are just going to sit in a simulator, which actually feels and it behaves like an actual airplane. And our mind is kind of stupid in that sense, that it doesn't know the real difference between the real plane and the simulation. So that kind of experiential learning is going to become a part of our human experience. So these are the kind of changes that I can foresee in education.
Hmm. Is that more in-person related events you see when it comes to education, or do you think we'll still stay a lot more digital?
See, in my opinion, what will happen is AR VR is becoming so good. And you may have heard about Neuralink, Elon Musk company. They
Right.
have planted a chip in somebody's head. Now, I don't know. I mean, I would want to go that far, but from again, from my understanding of the human mind, any stimulus can give rise to an internal sort of emotion, internal feeling. So the line between the real world and the virtual world is going to be eliminated. So when you say in person versus virtual, it's only a
Mm.
matter of time when we won't even have these concepts anymore, because it will be all just a human experience. It will depend on your preference, whether you want to go out there, smell, the fresh air, or experience an extreme sort of extreme natural environment, or what have you, or you want to sit in the comfort of your own home and actually experience similar emotions, similar feelings. So even today, like, I can put on a virtual reality goggle and
Right.
visit Eiffel Tower like within few seconds. Now it is not exactly the same, but it's getting pretty close. So you can just extrapolate in
Right.
5 to 10 years where we're going to be with technology.
That's crazy. I mean, that's a paradigm shift for me, right? Even because when you said that there will be blurred lines of what that really means, is to some extent, yeah, I guess you're right. That will be the new norm. That will be reality,
Mm.
right? Is the usage of VR, AR in
Yeah.
everyday
And
life.
I mean, if you're a science fiction movie fan, we've seen all this in like Star Wars and everything.
Yeah.
People are sitting in different galaxies and talking to each other in the same room. So
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so then I guess at that point, just like utilizing AI technology, it'd probably be beneficial to use AR, VR technology as well, right?
absolutely.
Because they're almost synonymously moving in the same
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Okay.
mean, the key here is to understand that AI as a concept is an umbrella term for many, many, many different technologies, right? So AR, VR
Mm-hmm.
is a subset of artificial intelligence. It just
Mm-hmm.
focuses on a different aspect of computing and human experience.
Mm-hmm. And then now I want to ask a question I've been excited to ask since this we started, right? And I think this is a great segue here because we talked about blurred lines. Now, I also think there may be a longing for also a maybe how is it best to say this, detachment from technology as well from time to time. Maybe a detox is the better way to say it. Um, because also probably you've experienced this as well. You go on a vacation, you go to the beach, you feel this sense of belonging and calmness when you're with nature, or maybe you go on a hike or camping or whatever it is, right? The river, boating. So you feel this sense of reconnection with the earth. Do you think we're going to see that side as well, where we need time away from technology from time to time?
See, the misconception is that humans and technology are separate entities. Okay, so let me
Mm,
explain. So you know humans discovered how to make fire millennia ago. um, but do you think fire is a separate entity from humans? Can you imagine human life without fire? Same goes for
right.
the wheel, same goes for electricity. Now same goes for the
Hmm.
internet. Like, even though, yeah, you may get away, but even to get away you'll need, first step will be Google where to go. you know so
Right.
and
Right.
then book the tickets online and whatnot. So the
Right.
misconception is that we are separate from technology and we need a detox away from technology. What you really understand, when you see the trends of technology, and on a long term basis, you'll see that technology is actually empowering our lives, but it is getting more and more invisible. So the very first computers that were made, they used to occupy almost like a big home. That was one computer. And then
Hmm.
we started getting a computer which we could put it on our desktop computers. Then we had a laptop, we could put it on our laps. Now we have devices which we could wear as a ring, on our fingers, and
Right.
chips that can attach to our mind. So the idea is that the technology itself is becoming invisible, and it is enhancing the human experience, and it is giving the freedom to us to experience life as we want to. So yes, if you have the urge to go to the beach, technology is going to help you get there faster. Imagine trying to go to the beach, or a remote destination 20 years ago. You had to figure out, okay, I'm going to go to the library, do some research on travel, books, figure out a destination, call a travel agent. He's going to probably make like multiple calls, send a letter to a remote travel agent. you know it was a huge
Mm.
task, right? And today you can get it all done within.
Grab an
Yeah,
atlas.
exactly. Yeah. Now within
Yeah.
15 minutes, you're up and running, and you've planned your vacation. So the idea is that, in my opinion, we should not really, it may be a controversial thing to say, but I don't think we should think about like getting away from technology, detox. It's part of human experience, and like anything, it could be addictive, you know and if you are able to stay away from addictions like alcohol or smoking or drugs, or you know then you should be able to control your addiction to digitization as well, as long as you understand your purpose, what you're doing, how you value your time, what kind of content you are consuming. It's an individual decision.
Hmm. So would you say this symbiotic relationship with technology is good, bad, or is it one of those thinking makes it so
See,
situations?
again, I believe, just like our kids are part of us, you know our offspring are part of us. We don't say, oh, that's a different entity altogether. I have given birth to a child, but now I mean, of course they are a different human being, but at a very core level it's a continuation of our life, right? Same
Mm.
thing, technology in my opinion is an offspring of humanity. So just like what I mentioned, starting from the ancient times when we discovered the wheel and the fire and all of these things, money, it has shaped human life. So we cannot imagine life without technology. And I'm not talking about like advanced technologies like we use today. I'm talking archaic technologies, just like the printing press,
Hmm.
like the lever, the wheel, the gunpowder,
Right.
building homes with material from the environment, agriculture. All of these things are technology, but they have become so ingrained in the human experience we cannot imagine life without it. So in my opinion, good or bad are humans. Technology is neutral, and it
Yeah.
is part of what we define as life.
Right. And even with every revolution, we've seen good and bad come with it, right? Even, for example, with the agricultural revolution, uh, more common ailments like back pain and hip pain started arising because humans were, crouching more frequently and, digging more frequently and living more sedentary lifestyles. So that was our shift, right, from semi-nomadic, nomadic lifestyle to sedentary. So I'm assuming we probably will also see in over time in the history books of this revolution of technology and what good and bad came of it, right? Do you think so?
Yes, absolutely. There's always going to be, risks with any technology. There's going to be like, just like the good people are creating solutions, bad people are going to create problems. But again, it's nothing new. Like, with fire, I can burn down a home or I can cook my food.
Yeah.
When the atomic sort of structure was discovered, you could make an atomic bomb with it, or you could create atomic energy. So the the comforting thing here is, once again, you need to stand back and look at the entire human history. We have come close to destroying our species many times over, and somehow
Right.
we survive because I believe 95% of humans are good. Even 99% of the humans are good. All they want is progress, abundance, happiness, peace for themselves, for their families, for their communities. And 1 to 2% people who are kind of creating nonsense and a nuisance for others, mm, they can be balanced by the goodness of the rest of people. And I think that has been the key reason why we are here, why we are the most dominant species on this planet, right?
Right. I think another comforting idea it's also freedom of
Mhm.
choice in how you decide to think and use said given
Yeah,
tools,
yeah,
correct? I mean, you have the choice to burn down your house or use it to cook
yeah,
food, right? So same thing here. So I think that's very relieving is if you need a break and you think you need a break, then take your break, go to the beach. Obviously, you're probably going to use technology to get there. Then you just shut off your phone and take a couple hour break or whatever. But that I think that's another comforting aspect is it's a tool, right? At the end of the day, so it's meant to aid in whatever outcome you seek.
absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm. Now, I wanted to ask another side point here. This was the part I really wanted to get to. I saw and you mentioned this at the beginning of this episode, is this parallel between AI and meditation. And I find that very interesting. Can you dive a little bit into that idea?
Yeah, see, meditation. Okay, so let's step back here. Our mind is complex layers of pattern recognition. So most people don't realize we have an unconscious mind and a conscious mind. So the conscious mind is the logical mind, and the unconscious mind is the emotional mind that has evolved over millions and millions of years. Now, 95% of the actions we take and the life experiences we have, they're actually controlled by our unconscious mind, because our world runs on emotions, not on logic.
Hmm.
So we make every human
Hmm.
being makes decisions emotionally, and then they justify it logically. Now, a good example will be, let's say, you buy a brand new red flashy car, and if I ask a rational person, hey, why did you buy this car, they'll start listing all the benefits. Hey, 3-year warranty, goes 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds, and
Hmm.
less
Right.
fuel consumption, all of that. But really, why they bought the car is how it makes them feel, how people turn their heads when
Right.
they're zipping through,
Right.
on the
I liked
yeah,
it.
exactly. So now what happens is that, as we have evolved, this conscious and unconscious mind has really glued themselves. We are not able to like really see it. But when you start
Right.
meditating, it's almost like you start peeling off the layers. You start to observe your unconscious mind and see what is happening, what is actually, why am I behaving like this, why am I saying this
Hmm.
right now, what are the emotions that are,
Increase self
yeah,
awareness,
exactly,
maybe.
exactly. So that
Mm.
self awareness start to bubble up. Now, meditation takes practice, it takes patience, it takes dedication, consistency. But AI is actually able to impact our mind as well. Just like we were mentioning earlier, like how social media impacts our mind. So what you can do is you can start to implant good positive stories in your head using AI. So here is a good exercise you can do. Go to ChatGPT and say, hey, write. Let's say you want to achieve something in the next 30 days. Let's say, nothing like, okay, I want to I want to win $1 million lottery. No, that's something like, I want to visit a beach with my family, as you were
Mm.
saying. So in most cases our unconscious mind wants that, but we have a vague idea of what that means, like which beach are we going to go to, like what time of the
Yeah.
day we are going to go, what are we going to eat there, who are we going to meet, are we going to take a walk, are we going to take a swim in the ocean, all of these things.
Hmm.
It's very vague, it's not very clear in our mind. And just like a GPS, like if you use a GPS and say, okay, take me anywhere, GPS is going to say, what does that mean, I'm going to just take you around in circles. So
Right.
once you get a real good clarity on what actually you want, what kind of experience you want, your mind starts to create that meditative state of mind to create that emotional response. So what you can use ChatGPT or any other AI platform is, you can say, hey, write a story, detailed story about me visiting the beach with my family on a certain day on Tuesday, and it's sunny out, and we are having, ice creams and we sandwiches, and we took a dip in the ocean. Describe all of this in excruciating detail of what it feels like, you know, and then
Mm.
read out that story to yourself, and
Oh.
then read it again and read it again, and read it, or even say it out loud to yourself for the next 30 days and see what happens. Your mind actually starts
Mm.
to become very powerfully magnetized towards that experience, and it starts to generate that experience in your real life.
It sounds like you're strengthening the ability to visualize your
Mhm.
reality before it occurs,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
and almost to what you're saying is gaining clarity as well
yeah,
in what that would look
yeah,
like.
exactly, exactly.
Mm. And you're saying meditation does the same thing by making you self-aware of what
Absolutely,
kind of clarity you're looking for?
absolutely.
Hmm. So have you noticed any other best practices that would aid in this sort of techniques, right? Other than storytelling for visualization, have you used it for, I don't know, maybe goal setting? Maybe
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
what else have you
Yeah,
used to aid?
absolutely. Like, if you are familiar with Chat GPT and the concept of custom GPT, there are many custom
Mm-hmm.
GPTs available for this kind of purpose. I mean, it's like an app store on your phone, so you can search for.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned Ikigai. Just search for Ikigai. There's a custom GPT, many custom GPTs which can help you find your Ikigai. There are many custom GPTs available for goal setting. There are many custom GPTs to help you start a business. There are many GPTs for both emotional side of things and logical side of things. Like, let's say you are
Mm-hmm.
not good at managing your finances, you can find a GPT which can advise you on your budgeting. So AI is very versatile in that sense and can really help you optimize your life in the way that you want.
Mm-hmm. And for those that don't understand fully what you're saying here, there's the GPT section where you can create your own parameters of what you're looking for, right? So if you're looking for a PR assistant, you can create parameters and create your own GPT that specializes in that. But you're saying people have also already made custom versions of that that you can just
Yes.
use?
Yeah. So it's almost like,
Okay.
as I said, it's like an app on your app store which has been trained for a
Hmm.
specific purpose, and so you can just start using that and just start talking to it like a human being.
That I have to try that. That sounds very interesting. So, Manoj, there's one last question I love to ask my guests on this show. And the show being called Learn or Be Learned, I like to ask, what is one life lesson that either you learned from someone or you want the audience to learn from your own life that you'd like to share as a
I
closing
think the
point?
biggest lesson I've learned is the actual value that we earn in this world is human relationships. So a lot of people focus
Mm,
on collecting dollars and cents in their bank account, but if they focus on collecting more relationships, those dollars and cents in the bank account go up automatically.
hmm. And why would you say that is?
Well, I mean, it's it's very clear. Like, let's say if you want to get a job, if you want to start a business, if you want legal advice, if you want advice on AI, whatever, um, if you have a good relationship network, you can reach out into your network, and with a simple phone call or SMS, get the solution to your problem. But if not, then you're going to struggle and try to figure out how to do it. You're going to end up wasting a lot of time, a lot of energy, make a lot of mistakes, and that's just going to slow you down and even move you away from your goal.
Right. Yeah, I say it all the time on this show. I stress the importance of communication, socializing, networking, but also building relationships and authentic relationships, right? Because there's also, I've seen it myself plenty of times, this salesy tactic where it's just meet and greet and trying to get as many business cards as you can, and that almost shows itself in its inauthenticity. So I agree with you. I think building relationships is probably the wealthiest thing you could do, right? It's who, not how,
Yeah, exactly,
that
exactly.
type of idea.
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate your time and your wisdom in AI.
absolutely.
It's
Thank
been
you so
great.
much for having me.